Alrighty, good afternoon. So you should have picked up a bundle of flowers today and a vase. First thing, the vase, you need to get the stuff out of it because we just use it as a container to carry stuff out. You should have a pen, some ribbon, and a silk flower. Okay, so there's already another video posted that you're going to do your silk flower pen. That's no problem, easy peasy. And the ribbon we're going to set aside because we're going to use it at the end for our vase. So very first thing you need to do is make sure that your vase is clean. We don't want any bacteria growing in there. You give it a spritz of bleach, swish it on some water. If it's really dirty, you can use a bottle brush or a fork around a napkin, anything to kind of clean it. Then you're going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full with fresh water. Alrighty. You always want to design in a container with water, either foam or a vase. It needs to have water. Alrighty, then you're going to look at the materials that you have. You should have 3 carnations, 2 solid aster, and some leather leaf fern. Alright, so first thing you need to do, carnations come and they often need to be fluffed up a little bit. So making the OK sign so that you kind of support the head, the bloom, you're going to fluff it up with your fingers, make it look a little bit nicer. Carnations are really the only flower that you can manually fluff like this. Everything else kind of bruises. Carnations are tough, okay? Looks much better than something like this. Okay, so I'm gonna fluff all 3 of my carnations, supporting them because the stems are very crunchy and break easily. I'm gonna fluff all 3 of these. Alrighty, so they're good to go. Next, I need to remove any foliage that's going to be down in the water. Anything below the water line needs to be taken off so that it doesn't cause bacteria to grow as it decays. So don't take up the upper ones, it kind of makes them look ugly, but anything, the bottom half of the stem needs to go, or anything that's ugly or damaged. Like this one has a little thing on it, I'm gonna just take off part of that leaf. All right, let's take off these. Now they're good to go. Same would be true of your solid aster. The bottom half needs to be clean stem, okay? Nothing in it that's gonna cause the water to rot. It's gonna make it smell and reduce the vase life of your flowers. Alrighty, so we have our leather leaf, our solid aster, and our carnations. We're gonna start with the leather leaf fern. Remove anything that's damaged. It has a little bit of water spotting on it, but it's okay. All right, make sure it's nice and clean. And you can either do this designing directly in the vase, okay? Or you can do it in your hand. I'm gonna show you how to do it in your hand because I think it's easier to control where things are going because they kind of roll around in the vase. So I'm gonna start with a leather leaf, that's gonna be the base. And then I'm gonna start with my first flower, okay? And I want the leather leaf just to be slightly taller. It's gonna back up this carnation. And then I'm going to be stepping down so that my eye has a path to travel as opposed to having everything just stuffed in at the same height. That's not good. You need to draw some interest. So you're going to look at your solid aster. Whichever one is smaller is the one you're going to want to use first because you want the visual weight higher in the vase and something that is the light went up higher and the visual weight down lower, so it doesn't look like your vase is going to tip over with the weight up high. Okay, so I'm going to start with my smaller one. So I have a leather leaf, my first carnation that's already fluffed and clean. Then I'm going to do my solid aster, and I'm just holding it here in my hand. Then I'm going to do my next carnation, and I'm stepping down a little bit. I'm not going to put it up even here. I'm going to step down a little bit. I'm going to step out to the side right here. Then I'm going to do my next solid aster, again making sure any foliage that would be below the water line is off. I'm just going to tuck it so that it's tucking just under the neck of the second carnation. All right, let's take this off as well. It's kind of fluffy. Okay, next I'm going to do my final carnation, and the step between your tallest one and your second one is going to be bigger than the step. These are going to be a little bit closer. Not even, but a little bit closer. I'm going to put it right there. And this is kind of what we're going to end up with. Okay? So if you have any extra leather leaf, some of you have 2 pieces of fern. If you have it, great, you can use it, otherwise it doesn't matter. I'm gonna tuck it, right up here in the front. Now I need to figure out what 2 times is going to look like. Remember, you don't want it stuffed down in there. You want it to be 2 times, 1.5 to 2 times the vase. So what I'm gonna do is gonna hold it up and I'm gonna say, I probably need to cut it about here. And remember, you can cut twice or 3 times, but you cannot make something longer again. So make sure, cutting it at an angle, make sure that you don't cut too much, because we can always cut a second time if I find out. So that's a little bit tall. I'm gonna take off about another inch. So it's gonna nestle right in there. Oops, one more. Cutting at an angle. I'm gonna set them in there all together, kind of fluff them around. And I have a path for my eye to travel. The very last thing you're gonna do is, you can set your vase aside for a second, you're gonna use the purple ribbon that came home today, that was stuffed in the vase, and you're going to make a nice bow. Remember, twist, so I have the shiny side up, make the bow loop, twist, make a loop. And remember, it doesn't have to go out to the side. I can make it look better after it's all wired together. I just need to get my loops kind of close to the same size. Loop, twist, keep going. You can use all this purple ribbon so that you have a nice fluffy bow for the color of your bud vase. Be quite a few loops, very fluffy. If you get frustrated and only use half your ribbon or it messes up, that's okay too. Do the best you can. You're beginning to make bows. Big old twist here. All right, so I'm twisting, so I have the shiny side up. I'm making my loop, twisting, make a loop. I go up and down. Remember that I have to have a binding point in the middle where I'm going to put my wire, because otherwise I can't hold my bow together if I have all of my loops just going up or just down. I'm going to use this little piece here to make the add-on tail, and I'm going to tuck it directly underneath right there. So this, oops, tuck that back in there. So this is my bow. You have paddle wire somewhere. I have paddle wire, don't know where, oh, there it is. All right. I need about 6 inches of paddle wire. I'm going to use my wire cutters or the back of my multi-purpose tool. I have my wire here over the top of my bow. And then I'm going to pull it really, really tightly. I have these 2 stems here, really tightly. I'm going to squeeze it and twist 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then I can't see the center. You have to make sure your bow is tight enough that you don't see the wire across the center. It looks like all one big fluffy thing. Then I have a skewer that I'm going to set right next to it. And with my floral tape, I'm going to stick, remember it likes to stick to itself. So you're going to stick it right there and stretch and pull, angling it so you can do it really quickly. And you only need to do about half the skewer. That will be long enough. You can use a wire cutters or your other multi-purpose tool. Cut that, make sure it's stuck really well. Give it a bend so it's forward facing, and find the front of your design. Tuck it right off the front, and there you go. Bud vase accomplished. Good luck.